Coming up on Mountain News this morning, as cases of COVID-19 go up in our region, the virus has infected some first responders in Clay County. And we told you last week about some student athletes testing positive for the virus here in Hazard. Now the number of related cases has gone up.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Lacey Roberts, and thank you for joining me on Mountain News this morning. Today is a Wednesday, July 15th, also known as Hump Day. So you've made it through the middle of the week. Let's go ahead and bring in Brandon Robinson. What we're also going to make through this week is hot temperatures, and you were saying earlier today, this is going to be one of the hottest days that we've seen.
So far, yes, ma'am. We're going to see some very hot temperatures later today. Not too bad this morning, similar to yesterday morning, but a little bit warmer. 70 at Jackson, one of the warmer spots in the region. Everybody else in the 60s so far. And we take a look at our 24-hour ago temperatures. Everybody just a little bit warmer, with the exception of Middlesboro. They are 1 degree cooler. There are several spots exactly where they were this time yesterday. Remember, some spots dropped into the upper 50s yesterday morning. That will not be the case today. Some fog early, and then temperatures will soar to the mid-90s, 94 right around 4 o'clock, the official high. So again, it's going to be a hot and humid day. Take those heat precautions and be ready for it. The rest of the forecast details are on the way here in just a little bit. Lacey?
And as the pandemic continues, many folks across the Commonwealth are still unsure when they will return to work or how they will pay their bills. This led to the state opening up a few in-person sites to help with the influx of unemployment claims. This week, one of those sites was in Floyd County. WYMT's Buddy Forbes talked to a couple of people who took advantage of the change for an in-person discussion.
The dark cloud of unknown has spread rapidly during the pandemic.
I'm a single mother, so I'm like, oh God, I've got all this stuff going on, and it scares you.
Part of that unknown includes the workforce, as people across the region seek unemployment compensation.
Oh, it's been a rough one. I originally applied in March, and then I had to wait over a month before anything was issued out.
And then came another hiccup, and the checks stopped coming. So she sought out a face-to-face.
She got me fixed up, so it worked really good. It was really simple.
That help came Tuesday in Prestonsburg as part of the state's pop-up sites for in-person unemployment insurance help.
This right here was fast and it was convenient, and if they could do this everywhere, I think it would help a lot of people.
And while a lot of people left the Big Sandy Community and Technical College's campus reassured, some were still apprehensive.
I got answers, but I didn't get the help that I was looking for.
After traveling from Powell County to Floyd County in order to speak to someone face-to-face, Devin Miller says he is still waiting.
I've lost vehicles, I've lost one apartment, I'm about to lose another apartment, you know what I mean? Where's my help at? It's frustrating me.
He was told he was denied and would have to appeal his claim.
I'm a single dad. I've got 2 kids. I've got 2 twin nephews that are 16 that live with me. I'm struggling right now. The American dream at this point is a nightmare.
But he says there may be some options in the interim to help him out.
In the meantime, I hope that the other relief package that, they try to offer works out for me, which that's where I'm at right now.
As he waits for brighter days. In Floyd County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, these consultations are by appointment only and are also available in Frankfort and Covington. The Kentucky Career Center website also says that not all issues can be resolved at the time of your appointment. And today is the deadline to file your state income taxes. Governor Beshear extended the deadline from April 15th to July 15th because of COVID-19. It's also the deadline to make tax payments that were due back in April. Kentucky law prohibits interest waivers, so interest will still apply on those payments. And a fence will be built around the governor's mansion in Frankfort. It comes after a protest in May where armed protesters crossed over barriers to stand on the front porch of the mansion. That same day, protesters hanged the governor in effigy. The fencing was requested by Kentucky State Police Executive Security for the safety of the first family and future first families at the mansion. And 87 people were arrested during a protest outside the home of Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron yesterday. The large group of protesters are calling for justice and the death of Breonna Taylor. The Attorney General is leading the investigation into the shooting that happened 4 months ago. Louisville police say the dozens who were arrested refused to leave Cameron's yard. Cameron released a statement saying, in part, justice is not achieved by trespassing on private property, and it's not achieved through escalation. It's achieved by examining the facts in an impartial and unbiased manner. And a congressman from Virginia tested positive for COVID-19. This is Congressman Morgan Griffith. He tested positive for the virus yesterday. Griffith said that he was tested after developing symptoms, and following the positive test, he is self-isolating. Griffith represents Virginia's 9th congressional district, which includes Wise, Lee, Dickinson, and Buchanan counties. He says he will continue to perform his duties while self-isolating. And as cases of COVID-19 increase in our region, the virus has affected some first responders in Clay County. I talked with health and law officials in Clay County about these cases and the next steps they're taking. In Clay County alone,
we have 31 active cases, 6 probable cases, and out of those cases, we have 3 that are hospitalized.
The spread of COVID-19 is making its way to first responders.
This really draws our attention to the fact that it can be anyone who is exposed to COVID-19 and who develops a case of COVID-19.
Those positive cases, 2 deputies with the Clay County Sheriff's Office, 1 officer with the Manchester Police Department, and 1 911 dispatcher with the county.
We're concerned about their safety, and they are too, but in fact our law enforcement are more concerned about the risk that then they pose to the public.
Christy Green, health director with the Cumberland Valley District Health Department, says more symptom testing will be done.
Implementing a strict version of that so that our law enforcement officers are monitoring their symptoms at home and potentially reporting those before they report for their shift.
Although the sheriff of Clay County, Patrick Robinson, says his deputies showed no symptoms.
It makes it scary. We're just now seeing the effects that the big cities has had for months.
The first deputy contracted the virus from a family member, then giving it to a coworker on the same shift.
You have no symptoms at all, but you could be walking around and giving it to other people. It may mean death to somebody else.
Now deputies will ride alone as well as continue to wear masks at all times.
He was glad to get on it from the start so we could stop it so that we didn't cripple this agency.
Hoping to limit the spread of what damage is done. In Clay County, Lacey Roberts, WYMT Mountain News. Green also says that those who were identified through contact tracing are self-isolating and in quarantine. And on Friday, officials with the Kentucky River District Health Department reported 9 players and an assistant coach from Hazard High School tested positive for COVID-19. As of yesterday, that number has increased with a total of 15 student athletes and 2 members of the coaching staff and 10 additional cases in connection, though they're contact tracing. Scott Lockhart, Kentucky River District Health Department Public Health Director, says that the school district has been compliant and helpful when addressing the issue.
And again, they had some very good plans laid out. And I think this is a lesson for all of us and for all of our school systems going into the fall and bringing kids back, is that regardless how good your plans are, the human factor is at play.
Officials with the school say as of now, practice is suspended until further notice and that they are in constant communication with the health department to enhance procedures for preventing the spread. And COVID-19 is forcing some festival organizers to get creative. In Leslie County, officials with the Osborne Brothers Festival are inching closer to locking down plans for it to be virtual. WYMT's Will Puckett has more on how these plans could benefit local fire departments.
Since its inception in 1994, the Osborne Brothers Festival has had one mission.
That was a no-brainer. I said, yeah. I said, we just formed the 1006th Fire Department. Let's do it for them. So the first Bluegrass Festival was held just for our fire department.
The following year, it moved to support all 6 volunteer fire departments in Leslie County.
So that's how the Osborne Brothers Festival started.
2020 has changed how many things are being done. With this year's festival moving virtual, John Newell, the captain of the Thousand Sticks Volunteer Fire Department, says the possibility of fundraising is endless.
I'm excited about the possibility of what this could turn out to be. I hope I'm not disappointed.
That is because every department in the county received special funding for flood cleanup. That now means any money made from the festival could just be icing on the cake.
Kind of soothe the wound a little bit. And so, you know, with that and not knowing what the festival is going to bring in, it may be one of our better years.
To be a positive in a year filled with little to be happy about. In Leslie County, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
Departments normally take between $5,000 and $6,000 away from the festival, and that's a piece. And the White House invited a Kentucky man who nearly took his life 30 times because of addiction to come to Washington. Kenneth Bearden, an addiction and care recovery or ARC liaison, discussed overdoses and his life with President Donald Trump. Now he's leading a new life and helping others find a path to recovery.
I work for Addiction Recovery Care as a community liaison, helping other alcoholics and addicts get into recovery and providing support for them. I'm living my purpose and my passion.
ARC operates a network of more than 30 addiction treatment centers in 16 Kentucky counties. Despite making long strides in decreasing overdose rates, Kentucky and neighboring states all report increases since the pandemic started. Well, just ahead on Mountain News this morning, what would you do if you were bitten by a shark? One woman has her answer to that question.
That's not something I want to think about there, but of course the weather-wise today, or the weather forecast weather-wise today, we don't want to think about that either because that heat is coming. I'll talk about it in about 3 minutes.